Now we're going to prep new lifters. I just got these here a couple weeks ago. As you can see, they're bone dry. And what I'm going to try and do here, I'm going to do it the traditional way that I've always been taught, and that is to soak them up to their ankles or up to their necks in oil and let them self-bleed out the top. Gravity will take care of it. As the oil gets into the lifter, it'll push the air up and out. And then when you got oil at the top and no more bubbles, you know you're good. And of course, this last bag had a tear on me, so give me just a sec here. All right, we're gonna do it the hard way. Hated to waste that little baggie because they always come in handy, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. So what I want to do, I'm gonna attempt this, I've never really done it, is to try and zip tie these guys together. Then we're gonna put them in the oil. We're gonna let them soak for 24 hours. So let's see if we can get this under here like this. They're probably going to want to stand on each other. Get this guy here like this. All right, that's kind of where we're going to go anyway. All right, come on now. They're a little awkward because of what they are, the shape they are and everything. So try and get them all about the same height. That looks pretty good to me. All right, give me just a sec. I'm going to get clippers. We're going to clip those zips off. Make sure they're nice and tight yet first. Make sure all the oil holes are pointed out because we're going to fill oil all the way up to them. All right, here's another one. And what I want is I want all these holes under the oil. All right, so the oil will fill up the lifter as it goes down, and as it does that, it'll push the oil out of the top. All right, so when we see there's like a puddle of oil on the top, then I think we're good to go. So let's cut these off. We're going to give this a try. All right, and they're going to sit in there semi-nicely. Let's offset. There we go. That looks good. Okay, let me get some fresh oil here. Hopefully I have enough. And we're just gonna, getting this on camera, just fill this up. You can reclaim the oil later. All the way up, all the way up. All right, that's about as full as that bowl's gonna get. I'll set that there. Wipe my hands off. Okay, so now we're just gonna let those sit for 24 hours and we'll come back down and check them. As you can see, I don't know if you can see it on the video, but they're kind of, I already saw one bubble. And everybody's submerged, so let's get that out of there. All right, there's a bubble there. There's little bubbles coming up between. There's more bubbles. I don't know if I can zoom in on that or not. But I'm not going to lift it because then I'll spill oil all over the damn place. I know it will. So we'll see you in 24 hours, and we'll hopefully have these guys bled down and ready to install.
One eternity later.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of Wrench, Ride, and Repeat. Today we're going to do lifters. And as you can see on the counter here, I've got the lifter blocks. And all right, they're all cleaned up. Cleaned the faces off on them real good. Get all the gasket crap off of them. And there's two theories to this, and I'm not quite sure which one's better or worse. The manual says you to soak the new lifters, okay? So they're hydraulic lifters, so they need to have oil in them initially, right? Then as the engine does its thing, they pump up and they bleed down when they're in the engine. So the theory is that you soak them in oil. And Bob, come over here once. See the top of the lifter, the oil that's on in the cups there? That shows you that that lifter has absorbed enough oil, right? That cup is level with the level of the oil. The other way to do it, let me jump in here real quick if I can, is to take an oiler and take the lifter and line up that little oil hole and just pump oil into it until it comes out the top. Then you're done. So for this, they're all zip tied together, so I gotta get a cutter here. And this is gonna be quite messy, so I want to make sure that I have something to drip drain these things into. Need a nice, clean that bowl out real good. I don't want no foreign debris, right? So we'll put the lifter blocks back. I already put some assembly lube on those. They should be good. Let's pull these guys out and let them drain for a second. That's just the oil coming off the outside of them. It's not actually coming out of them. All right. Actually, I'm going to do this. There we go. There we go. That's better. Okay. So let me cut the zip ties. All right. So I probably really didn't even have to do the assembly lube because they're soaked in oil. So we're going to put these in the lifter blocks. All right. So they're all done. And when you take the bike apart, you have to match what lifter went in what port, right? You know, the front exhaust, front intake, they all have to match. But because we're using new lifters, you just install them and you're good to go. There's nothing really to do to them. So we'll take the first one here and we'll just drop it in. Now, you might have heard this or not, I don't know. See the hole right there? Oops, sorry for the shaking. That hole is what lets the oil into the lifter. If you look down in here, there's oil holes down. I don't know if you can see them down in there. There's holes in that chamber. Old school was to line that hole up with that hole. So you had to turn it, had to go in a certain way. The new ones, because they have this dip or this divot, right? They're not solid the same length. There's oil, you know, there's enough room for that oil to go around there. So you don't have to line them up anymore. It's like an old wives' tale. So we'll take these slimy little suckers, slide them in there. Okay. I mean, it's not like super rocket science. Just read the manual, right? I harp on the manual a lot, and there's a reason for that. So, all right, that wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. So, all right, I have we'll take these with. I think I have everything over there that I need. All right, come on over here. I'm going to wear a groove in this red stool. Okay, so the lifter blocks are, okay, let me turn that around for you. That's front, that's rear, okay? Because although they look the same, they're not oriented the same. Now let me think here. I think what we do is we put the rear one in first because we can hold. Yeah, there's enough goop on there. Those lifters really aren't going to go anywhere. I already have the gasket set. Make sure, excuse me, you have that oil hole, where is it, lined up, all right? Because that's what's actually going to oil your lifter. So we'll get this oriented correctly. All right, your rollers are going to go on, your cam goes like this, rollers go like this. So that's the top pointed corner. Get that gasket out of the way for the minute. Then you can reach in. Ow, 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 ow. Let me stand up to do this without banging my head. All right. Trying to get that. Now see, that's the problem. The lifters want to fall and get in where they want to get in, and then they bind up in the cam. So, little tricky. All right, let's try this again. That's better. That's much better. Get the towel out of the way. Okay. All right, I'm just going to use one of these real quick. All right, so our gasket's lined up. The block seems to be in there pretty good. And I never understood this theory, but it does do what it's supposed to do. So these are lifter block alignment screws. The theory is you want those lifter rollers to sit right on that cam right in the middle, okay? So when you put these in, we'll do the one back here and the one out here so you can see what's going on. You screw these down. And this is a quarter 12-sided socket, which I don't think I need for these necessarily, because they are a little bigger. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So you need the little quarter guy for putting the actual screws in, and you need a bigger socket to run the adjusters in, or the alignment tool. So my thing with this is all fun and well, but is that not starting? Oh, I'm that far off. Make sure I don't bash my head in again. That was uncool. Come on, I can't be that far off. All right. Now, do this guy and this guy. There we go. It took a bite there. My question, or this, my theory to this is, why do you really need the alignment screws when the screws that mount the block down are, there's a inset there, so it pushes down on them anyway. But, you know, I'm no Harley engineer. I'm sure there's a reason for it. And we're going to do it per the book. So just crank these down nice and slow. And then I've got to go find the screws. I forget where I put them. All right, you don't have to crank these down. Certainly don't strip out that hole. None of that stuff. Okay, that's pretty snug right there. And what you're looking for is you're looking for this V part to sit down in there and wedge that block exactly where it needs to be. So these aren't tightening anything down. You just need to snug them so you can get the rest of the stuff in there. All right, so our block's in there. Bob, if you want to come over here and look down the other block hole, you can see how the lifters are riding on the cam. Okay. And while we're here, we'll just go ahead and, well, all right, pause. Okay. So we've put our guide screws in, right? Lifter block, guide screws. We started the two on the corner, so we'll tighten them down, pull the guides out, and then put the other two in. Everybody's nice and Loctited. And it says 8 to 12 foot-pounds, so at some point I will have to torque these down. All right, I like to do things a little evenly, even though we're not biting down there yet. And you know what? I was incorrect. Okay, so look here, if you can get a close-up on that. I thought that this edge to the top of this bolt would fit down in. There's like a little edge right where it goes, and they really don't. So they'll sit right down on top. So your alignment guide bolts will put it exactly where it needs to go. All right, so let's get these tightened down. Nice and gentle. All right. Okay, so we got two in. We'll go ahead and take our guide bolts out. All right, see, they weren't even torqued down there super great. Just enough to get them aligned. Take that one out. All right, take that one out. We had to take a slight intermission because I didn't know where all these screws were. So we'll do some Loctite. Now the trick is to remember to put your lifters in before you put the block on. So start that one. They're a pretty tight fit. I mean, those threads, when you're turning them, you can feel them, you know, they bite in. So you don't want them coming out on you. All right. That one good. goes down there nice. All right. I don't want to bottom him out just yet. All right, so on the first block, we put the rear block in, and we held the lifters with our fingers while we put the block on. All right, and that put the lifters on the cam where we want them to be. All right. So I don't want to bang my head again. So for the front one, this is kind of a special tool. Somebody 3D printed these. You can buy them. They come in all kinds of flavors. Then there's also, the old school way was to push these up in there and put a little wire clip down in, and that would hold it that way. So this one, you just put the magnet in there, and it'll hold them, right? And you're not going to be here all day anyhow. So make sure our gasket is on there right. Make sure your hole is aligned right. All right. Make sure our paper towel's out of the way. There we go. Okay. Now we can pull those out. Get our alignment screws started. Hopefully we're close to position. And I was not close to position. And, oops, don't do that. Hold on. Nothing's perfect, right? I had that gasket on there, right? There's my oil hole. There we go. That's right. Okay. Get our magnet back in there. And then the whole thing can sit down in. And we'll try this alignment screw again. I think that was it. Plop. Yeah, there it's biting. Okay, so get the other one started and we'll do this back corner. Everything's wet from assembly lube. And I need a ratchet here. That one looks pretty good. Just snug. There, okay, just snug. All right, and then we get our bolts started here. Just a little dab will do you. Right? Oh yeah, I might as well just kept the ratchet on there. All right, just till it makes contact, and then I want to do the opposite corner here. That's almost so loose that it won't keep the screw. Okay, so those are in. You gotta watch those magnets because, you know, they stick to everything. Okay. Put these back in their baggie. And then I'm going to put them someplace where I won't forget where I put them until I need them, and then I won't remember where I put them to not remember where I put them. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah, you can even see on the ring where a ring on where that head, that lip on that bolt actually sits on the block. Okay, snug. Snug. Okay, so they're all down. Let's give them a crank. I'm a little gun shy with the torque specs here today, fellas, because, and Bob, you can get a picture of that. I went to torque that down to spec, and that's what I was talking about in the other part of the video, and we stripped that hole out. So I need to fix that yet. So we didn't torque these down at all. We just snugged them up until I get a new bolt for that hole, and we had to put a cert in it and all that fun stuff. So while I'm BSing here, let me give it one more time around, just a little bit of a turn. Okay, that's all good. We'll double check these. That's good. Yep, there we go. Oh, that one's good. That one's good. All right, we're in business. So now that we have the lifter blocks on, we can put her oil pressure gauge on. All right, this one had a bad O-ring, so I had to get an O-ring kit. You really couldn't put these on until you put these on. So this is your oil sending unit. That's what gives you your pressure gauge or your pressure light on this bike. So we can go ahead and put this in here, I believe. How did I do that last time? All right. I'm going to have to take this apart to put that on. And see, I kind of stage these things so I know where to put them. All right, take the old tape off of that. Eek. Okay, camera on me. So that's about lifter blocks in a nutshell. Now we got to put the spacers and O-rings in them. And then I think the next part is to, we're going to have to put the pistons on, put the heads on, and then get ready to put the rocker boxes on with the new push rods, and we're off to the races. So thanks for watching. If you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. And we'll catch you next time on Wrench, Ride, and Repeat. Thanks.